Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make is actually chocolate chip cinnamon rolls. Now, if you're looking for traditional cinnamon rolls or Chelsea rolls, or Chelsea buns they're called, as well as I have a clone recipe for Cinnabon cinnamon rolls. I have several on my channel, so do check them out. But this one is used with just regular all-purpose flour, not bread flour, and with chocolate chips. So it really is a pretty, well, easy recipe once you see it all come together. Now, I made the dough in my bread maker on the dough cycle. Of course, you can go ahead and use the hand method of making your sweet dough. That's up to you, but I find that the bread maker is much easier for me. So I'm going to first off give you the ingredients, and everything will be below, directions and ingredients below the video. But this is how you would make the dough. 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 1/4 teaspoon of dry active yeast, that's teaspoon, 1/2 cup water, which is at least 120 degrees, 1/4 cup milk, 2 1/2 tablespoons of butter, and 1 beaten egg. And you also will need 1/3 cups of your little mini chocolate chips, or morsels if you'd rather call them that, also 1/3 cup of those. Now you can use more if you want, but I find 1/3 really, I think, is enough for my recipe. Now I'll take the dough out of the machine, so I'm just going to lightly flour my countertop and pull that out. You can see how beautiful it has come up, how nice and tall that it's raised. And we're going to take that dough right out of that. And I don't want to work with it too much because I don't want the dough to become heavy, dense, and tough. But what we'll want to do is to roll it out to 14 by 18. 14 by 18. So that's what I'm going to do. Just a little bit more flour. Okay. I think we got to come out that way a little bit. All right, and let me get the measuring tape out real quick. Okay, we got a little ways to go on that one side. Whoops. Now it doesn't have to be exact, but the closer you get to that 14 by 18, you know, it's better. Okay, all right, let's give it another check here. Okay. And it needs to come out just a little bit more. There we go. I think we almost got it there. Okay. Okay. All right, there we go. All right. So we got a 14 by 18. All right. Let me get rid of this. Put that aside. Okay, and we need to make the topping. So what I have in my bowl right now is a 1/2 cup of butter, and I just started to break it up with my fork. We're also going to be putting in a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar into that. And then I'm going to just mix the butter and the granulated sugar with my fork. Okay, that's got that combined. Now we're going to put in a 1/2 cup of brown sugar and bring that into the butter. This is a relatively very quick recipe, and I do like the ones that are easy and pretty quick to put together. You're also going to be putting in cinnamon. So you're going to put 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon into that. Okay. And that's coming along quite nicely. See what we got so far. All right. And the last thing, of course, you're going to be doing is putting in 6 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And I'm going to work that in. And then it's going to become like a crumble. And I'm just pulling it all together. Okay. And then you can also use your fingertips. And then you have it there. Okay. So the next thing, of course, is that we're going to start dotting this and putting this all over. Try to stay away from the edges. You don't want them to coming too close to the edges. So, you know, leave maybe a 1/4 or 1/2 inch away from the edges. And just put that crumble down on the top. Just try to even it out as best as you can. And I'll put a little bit closer to the ends here. There we go. Okay. All right. And then the next thing is your 1/3 cup of your chocolate chips. And put those all over the top. Again, if you decide you want to put more than 1/3, if you want to do a 1/2 cup, you know, that'll be up to you. And then I'm going to actually just start rolling this on the long end. I'm going to try to do it as tightly as I can, and then I'm going to try to push that filling a little bit more towards the end as I do that. Closer to the end. There we go. And just keep rolling it till you have like a jelly roll style. Got a little bit of moisture here on the dough, so I need to put getting a little sticky. So I want to put a little bit of flour on that so it'll jelly roll better. Okay, and then make the fold so it's underneath. And then I just really like to just seal, close the edge, and just seal that in. I'm going to put a little bit more flour on my countertop and bring this over. And again, I just bring the ends together, almost like a package that you're wrapping, and get that end. And then reach my fingers underneath so that the seal is all together. And then I'm just going to form it with my fingers like that. Okay, so we've got this nice roll going on. And let me just check and make sure that bottom is nicely pulled together here. Okay, there we go. Now to cut it, you're going to need a well-greased pan or your parchment paper, up to you. I like to use a string instead of a knife, and I just put the string underneath, and I'm cutting them pretty generous, probably about an inch or so, or a little bit bigger than an inch, and then lay them down onto your pan. And you do want to put them close together. You do want them to bake together, so I'll put that down so they are touching. Now what I generally do get out of them is I can get anywhere from 12 to sometimes even 15 of them. It really depends, you know, how large you cut them, but do let them touch together. Now, once you have them all very close together on your pan, put a towel, a clean kitchen towel over the top of these, or a piece of plastic wrap, and let them rise, and that usually takes you about an hour. They will double in size when you do that. Now, once they have risen and that hour has passed, you're going to put it in a 375-degree oven to bake them, and it's going to take you anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes. So I like to start checking mine around 20 minutes or so, you know, so that they don't burn. So let me show you. I want to rinse my hands really quickly, and then I want to show you what they look like once they're done. Right. And let me get that out of the way. And here they are. This is just some of them that that came out. They do bake up nice and tall and high. You'll have a beautiful golden brown on the bottom. And I don't know if you can see them now, but the little chocolate chips that are just popping out of the top. Now, I went ahead, of course, and I put a sugar glaze on. I used powdered sugar and milk. You can use powdered sugar and water. It's really up to you. Make it to the consistency of a thickness that you want. You know, start off with, say, a half a cup of powdered sugar, and then drizzle a little water or milk to find the consistency. And then I generally wait till the rolls are on a cooling rack. After they come out of the oven, I take them off the hot pan onto a cooling rack, and then I glaze them. Okay, I want to cut one open to show you what they look like once they're baked up. And they will come out. Well, let me give you, I want to show you one. I want to show you the one that has more of the chocolate chips in it. Okay, when you break open them, you will see the cinnamon and the sugar that you put in and all the little chocolate chips inside. And then when you do break it apart, they are extremely light and moist. They really smell great as they're baking in your oven. They're very lightweight, even though we're using regular flour. I tend to have a lot of recipes for cinnamon rolls or buns with bread flour. But this particular recipe with just all-purpose flour, they bake up very light and very delicate. They're really quite delicious, and they're very good hot, warm, or even cold. So give this recipe a try. If you do and you try it and you like it, well, leave a comment, because I always like to hear from you. And as always, I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you soon.